Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flow Forward, AI driven dealer management podcast. I'm Bhavna Sehgal, Brand and Communications Manager. Dealer networks across automotive and mobility ecosystem are expanding rapidly. New geographies, new partners, higher targets. Growth looks strong, but behind the numbers, many OEMs are wrestling with rising complexity and hidden risk. Today, we are going to talk about how OEMs can scale dealer networks without losing control and what must change before 2026 to make that growth sustainable. To guide us through this conversation, I am joined by Shalabh Rajvanshee, Associate Vice President at Cholamandalam Investment and Finance Company Limited. Shalabh brings a very practical perspective to this topic. Shalabh, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhavna, for having me here. So, I hope this conversation will bring a lot of value for your audience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, let's start with the growth story itself. Many OEMs are expanding dealer networks aggressively to capture new markets and drive volume. From your experience, Shahalab, where does risk begin to creep in as these networks scale, even when the top line numbers still look healthy?
So, Bhavna, what happens in the industry? So, the risk starts creeping at the moment when the scale outruns the discipline primarily. So, what happens initially when the dealers are in the markets, the companies are expanding. But when the growth starts stagnating, company feels that by appointing more and more dealers, they can recapture the same growth story. But the truth is not there. So, what happens when the OEMs mindlessly appoint the dealers or channel in the market, or they bring higher and higher penetration? So, the first thing happens, the quality of dealers get diluted when you start expanding in the market. So before uh, thinking on the pedagogy and how you are going to what kind of channel partner you want, so people start uh, 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 getting on board with you because of your growth story. And uh, lot of people, those who don't have the right kind of incentive aligned with your company, are also becoming the part. They
Exactly.
are they are providing the showrooms, but they are not able to run the brands, which is resulting the weak capitalization, sloppy processes, and the poor leadership in the market. 6 months later, what happens? The CSI gets tanked, the warranty claims get spiked, and suddenly the brand looks bad. So there are many examples are there. I would not like to take the name here, but
Mhm.
the stories are in front of us. The second is whatever the growth comes in a short haul, I should say, uh, that is because of the cannibalization. So the earlier channel partner uh, was doing X number. By appointing the second channel partner, this the number of first get reduced, and these are adding to the new channel partner. So basically, the new outlets are stealing the volume from the existing channel, and
Exactly. Exactly.
instead of generating the new growth, everything is on paper. Network sales are up, but the profitabilities are getting down. Uh, the morals are short, and your strongest partners are resenting to the headquarters. So these are the two major issue happens when the risk starts creeping in the market. Uh, the channel economies are also getting deteriorated. So before the sales number are getting shoot up in the market, uh, the economies are also getting deteriorated for both the partners. The person who has invested earlier with you, they are not able to keep the momentum of their profit, and they are in the stress, as well as the person who has invested new. He has to shell out a lot of discounts, everything. So he's not able to earn. So both the parties are in the conflict. Both of them are financially struggling, and these are the risks primarily what I feel now.
Completely agree with you, Shalabh. And that sounds really interesting because sales numbers can be very reassuring at the first glance. But building on that, dealer performance is still largely judged on sales numbers. But portfolio quality and execution discipline are just as critical. So, what visibility gaps do you see that prevent OEMs from spotting early warning signs across large dealer networks?
So very good question, Bhavna. I think uh, till now, wherever I talk to the industry experts and everyone, but I'm able to see uh, they are able to see what kind of inquiries they are getting, what kind of sales they are doing. But what is happening uh, inside the portfolio of their dealers? So nobody is able to monitor uh, beyond the sales numbers primarily. So, and I think very few marketeers or the channel experts are looking beyond of the sales number. Uh, what uh, At this point of time, what I feel the biggest issue which everybody overlooks are uh, the cash flow is not able to see. That nobody is visualizing and realizing why the dealer are missing on the vendor payments, why the shrinking of the service absorption, whatever the market potentials are there in the service, they are not able to provide it. uh, Dealers or channel partners are over relying on the incentives are being shelled out by the OEM. So by the time dealer misses a target, they are already bleeding uh, on month basis. Uh, Whatever the units are getting sold are not aligned with the quality of sales, uh, which is the actually a real metric should be there. Uh, uh, and have the very clear visibility for the OEMs, which will uh, going to give them the perpetual growth in the long run. So these are the crucial issues on the portfolio front, which nobody is talks about. The execution disciplines are the always being a concern when the brand have the sustenance 2 or 3 years. The execution disciplines are also getting deteriorated. The lead response time, the follow qualities are getting deteriorated. Technician, whatever initial numbers they were having, the numbers were the people who are going out of system, there is very less efforts are being made. How the new people are coming onboarded in the system, how the trainings are happening, how the service bay utilizations are happening versus whatever the theoretical capacities are. So these are the issues which the organizations should talk for a long run kind of growth. Apart from
Exactly.
this, if I talk about, yeah, if I talk about the customer experience point of view, so CSI and NPS are always a delayed kind of metrics which used to get published after a 30 days or 45 days time in the organizations. But what is happening on the daily basis? So OEMs really misses the real-time signals like rising complaints, what
Exactly.
kind of complaints they are
Agree.
getting. Okay. Yeah. And what kind of repeat jobs are getting unaddressed by the technicians or by the sales teams? What kind of service defections are? So all these are creating the dissonance at the customer level, and which is creating the overall brand image of the company in the
Yeah.
long run. So these are the things which I feel are which everybody should visualize it and should fix it at here and where they are. Otherwise, these are going to create a long daunting effect on the brand perception of the OEM.
Exactly, Shalom. And that naturally brings us to the coordination challenge across functions. And as networks grow, these challenges don't just sit with just one team. So, sales, operations, credit, and after sales all touch the dealers in different ways. So, Shahalab, how important is it for the OEMs to have a unified view of dealer operations to maintain control without slowing the growth?
So, Bhavna, what happens uh, at the OEM end, all these functions are very, very siloed kind of. So, some dealers are good at sales, some people are good at customer service, some people are very good at compliances, maintaining the compliances, and some are very good on the credit part because of they have. So, as per if I talk about in different metrics, some people will be good at some part, some people will be good at some part, but not a very comprehensive kind of view is available. And each vertical is having their own list of the top performers in the organization. Okay. So but what happens if a person is very good in sales but weak in the credit? So how the business sustenance would happen in that case? Because if he's not good in terms of the credit, he's not a credit worthiness in the market, but good at sales. If somebody is good at sales, having good credit worthiness, but they don't have the good customer after sales kind of service. So how the business sustenance would happen if the customer will not come back to them in a long run. So these are individually, these are giving the uh, some visibility or some kind of uh, satisfaction to the OEMs that my dealer is good with this. But until unless all these parameters are going to be the siloness of each uh, what I should say, each vertical will not be abolished, then we cannot see a complete picture of a
Right.
channel and health of the channel. So together, there might be a flashing red light, might be there, a flashing green light might be there for the channel. So until unless we are able to draw some kind of pattern from a channel from the data points in all these four parameters, I think whatever we are seeing are a complete eyewash for us. So some people says that a lot of control creates a bureaucracy uh, uh, at the channel level, but for me, my take is it brings the clarity, and control always doesn't mean about the bureaucracy, it means the clarity. Sometimes um, uh, OEMs worry about tighter control would create a slower growth, which is wrong. I think that more better visibility and more clarity on the operations will create more and more sustenance for the business in the long run. If so, this is my take on this.
That's a
So,
really, yeah,
so single operational view is a must for each and every uh, OEM, for each and every
exactly.
dealer.
Exactly. So that's a really critical insight, Shahalab. Like the OEMs must have a complete visibility of their dealer networks, especially since problems often surface too late. So often dealership teams realize there's a problem only when things start breaking down, defaults rise, service quality drops, or customer trust erodes. From your perspective, Shahalab, what kind of real-time insights can help teams intervene earlier and course correct faster?
So, Bhavana, what happens by the time uh, the CSI drops, the problem is already in the third stage kind of
Right.
issue. And rather than doing a postmortem at that moment, uh, the leadership should have the complete visibility of the what kind of lead indicators are.
Exactly.
So suppose a dealer is facing a issue of cash flow. Okay. So what I mean by this, like the aging payables to the part supplier or a vendor, if the OEMs are able to see some kind of stress into that, then that is a real time visibility metric, which a OEM should always have. But
Exactly.
it is not available anywhere as of now. Days of cash in hand trending down month on month basis. What kind of cash in hand their channel partners having? If I talk about the second, the most important visible the issue is the inventory health is not in the motion. So what happens? The old inventories are not getting diluted, and which is the older inventories are sometimes rises up to 40% of the overall dealer inventory. And why that is not moving? Nobody is having the very, very clear answer. Neither the dealership staff or the OEM, neither the OEM front end executives are having any visibility of.
Right.
And everybody's prime concern is to uh, do the wholesale in the month end. They should achieve their targets. But what is happening at the inventory level, nobody takes care of this. So these are the critical things which OEMs should have a very clear-cut visibility. Besides it, uh, very few OEMs are having the very, very clear visibility and what kind of execution discipline is happening at the dealership. So, suppose somebody has uh, uh, inquired at through telephonically at dealership, and uh, he has not been followed up till the 7 days. So it is a very wrong. It is going to create very wrong perception about the brand. Somebody has asked for the help. The dealership staff for the vehicle is off road somewhere, and people are not heading to that call till the evening or 5 to 6 hours. So it is creating an unnecessary kind of dent on the brand. While the brands are claiming a lot of good service levels, they are available. Roadside assistance are there, but it is not being executed. So these kind of visibility are not available at many of the places. Uh, After sales, if I talk about so the service appointments, I'm a customer also. So I book my service appointment and I see in some of the cases uh, whatever the service appointment has been given to me are not executed properly. So what is going to happen with those kind of brand? It is going to create a huge dissonance towards the brand because the brand has promised something and that is not being delivered to me. So it is going to create a decline in the overall service level, service retention levels. So suppose I have to go till the time I'm carrying that vehicle with me 4 year, 5 years, 6 years kind of time. And if I'm not getting the right kind of service level, so obviously my trust is loosened with that particular dealership. So I will try to fix my vehicle at the other place or I will move out from that brand. So service retentions are going to uh, create. The most important, I think, missing piece is the human capital are churning from the dealership. So average tenure of a dealership level employees are not sometimes in the front level executives are having a uh, average churning is not more than 360. They are moving out from the dealerships from 365 days, or the good managers or the good technicians are moving in a 1 years or 1.5 years kind of time. So uh, when the talent leaves, the performance starts collapsing for that dealerships in a very, very short time. So all these things are not getting any kind of visibility through the dashboard or uh, nowhere. I really have a concern because most of I have 2, 3, 4 brands of the country, and this kind of visibilities are not there in the system, and which is creating a huge loss for the organization in the long run.
Exactly. So that's a really good moment to zoom out and think long term. Looking ahead now and thinking about where the industry is headed, what structural changes in processes, Data visibility or decision making frameworks will be most critical for OEMs aiming to scale dealer networks without increasing financial and operational risk by 2026. Shalabh.
So, Bhavna, the year after year, we are seeing a lot of changes in the industry. And if I talk about the key trend, which I uh, see in the coming 1 or 2 years, kind of. So, uh, the biggest we have seen the COVID times as well, and the in the COVID times as well, what we face, the everybody face the risk, threat, and everything. Uh, so my foresight for the uh, 2026 is we can turn the growth story and uh, by mitigating lot of risk from the systems overall.
Exactly.
But the commitment is required. No halfway measures are going to work. All long-term uh, value-based kind of management is required. So the first and foremost thing what I feel, we should move up from KPI management to the trajectory management. So what I mean really is, so we should be judging the directional health of the dealership. So is the margins are improving or eroding? Service, what is the trend of the service absorption ratios? What kind of
Right.
execution disciplines are happening? So these are the things which we should see as a directional health. And this requires the process change, where uh, reviews focus on the trend deltas, 360 and 90 days, not just a monthly scorecard kind of. So, what is happening in the 3, 4, 5 months for each and every parameter? What kind of trend we are seeing? So, a um, uh, from a okay rating to the strong or a excellent rating, uh, are we are able to move on this. So are the dealers are moving from a struggler to the top performer. So these are the things which I feel uh, that OEMs are going to focus on the trend part.
Right.
Secondly, uh, the channel partners' biggest challenge is they are not quite happy with the kind of expansions the company plans to bring the growth. So uh, rather than taking the growth uh, uh, decision by the basis on the sales, they should take it one more factor to it, like the after sales team should be there to validate the capacity utilizations are happening or not. So suppose we are putting a channel to sales additional 200 vehicles per month, but the additional logic should be there, like are they are able to serve 3,000 vehicle in a month from that territory. So if these two metrics are going to add, I think it is going to create a much better story for uh, bringing the adding the new channel into this. How the real-time dealer health dashboards are, what kind of cash are cash flows are there with them, what kind of inventory velocities are there, what kind of service throughput and retentions are happening, how the talents are growing in their system. So the people who have joined 5 years back, is he sitting at the sales executive or a frontliner position, or he is moving ahead in the career? So these kind of visibilities are required. After sales, especially if I talk about the automotive world, so after sales uh, is not a support function anymore. It is a very, very independent and kind of vertical which adds uh, strong revenue. It have the strong potential to add value to the revenue. So that should have also impact on the network expansion pace, credit exposures limit, whatever the credit exposures are being, and the dealer classifications tiers are should be based on the after sales ratings. And uh, growth should not be should not be met. The number should not be the sales number should not be the only metric to measure the growth potential.
Right.
Uh, the financial resilience, operational disciplines, and after sales strong should be added as a very, very important metric to bring a clear visibility how the channel is performing in terms of the overall uh, growth path. So all these things should be comprehensively aligned and should be directed with the organization goals. So if the OEMs want to win in 2026, should not be based on the biggest network, but they should be based on the cleanest and more controlled, scalable uh, uh, business models, basically. So this is my take on this.
Right. So, Shalabh, thank you for sharing your perspective. This has been a valuable discussion for OEMs leaders thinking seriously about scale, risk, and long term growth. To our listeners, if this conversation helped you reflect on how your dealer network is growing, do share this episode with your teams. And don't forget to follow NetFlows 360 for more such discussions on strategic choices shaping OEM ecosystems. Thank you for listening, and we will see in you the next episode. Thank you, Shalabh, for sharing your great insights.